live. Aromatically Speaking is now streaming. I just received this notification. I guess that means we are live on my secondary channel, which is called, not The Candle Enthusiast, no, Aromatically Speaking. And it is, this is a little show that we call Smell It Sunday because it goes live on a Sunday and we smell things, or at least I do. And I invite you to smell along. Thank you for everyone who joined in on my main channel live. We announced the winner of a week-long giveaway, which was inspiring to say the least, because I love the idea of doing nostalgia, I should say, based trivia questions, and then giving away candles. And I'm just realizing that I posted in the headline of this video that we're sitting in a thunderstorm and this sun just popped out. So this is completely false advertising, but hello everybody. Blend It Like Brian is here. There's some folks that are here that weren't here for the main channel stream, so I appreciate you joining. But we got some stuff to talk about. But first, I do need to hydrate a little bit. I needed to do a few things with the other video. I got my water here. I have a little bit of my coffee. I've decreased my coffee intake a little bit. Not that I feel like I had a problem. I had a problem. But actually, it's been fine. I have like a cup, maybe 2 cups a day. One in the morning, and then maybe one in the afternoon, definitely when I do a Smell It Sunday. Hello, Laura. Let me pull you guys up. You know, I've been doing this for over a year, and you would think I would have this down to like a science. I do not like this camera angle. So let's adjust that. Let me kind of pull my chair back. Get you guys over here. Yeah, see, this is like a little bit better, because I'm sure you can hear, you should probably hear my fan, but I'm sure you can also hear a little bit of the birds, the nature. When I film my edited videos, I don't use a lapel microphone. Like, I don't wire myself up, a lavalier microphone. I use a shotgun microphone. It's a directional microphone. And although it does create problems, what's really good about it is that it captures. I really love how a lot of people think I'm like putting that audio in afterwards, the sounds of the birds and just like the natural sounds of like what happens in trees, you know, the beetle sounds and the squirrels and the chipmunks, all that little stuff. I suppose I could falsely layer that on later. Anyway, so what I do have here in front of me today, something that I purchased for the 4th of July. I was going to do this on the 4th of July live Smell It Sunday, but if you remember, that Smell It Sunday actually took it down. That was the Smell It Sunday where I attempted to evaluate the Unicorn Poop by Country Candle. Where are you guys? We've got Travis, Laura, Nikki, Blend It Like Brian, Cruisebat, Gabe. Gabe's here. Gabe is watching this channel in Jurassic Park at the same time. Are you watching the original Jurassic Park, Gabe? Are you watching Jurassic World? I hope you're watching Jurassic Park. That's what I grew up with. I remember waiting in line. Was it 1994? Waiting in line to see that film. And that was like the main introduction. Other than like Terminator 2, Jurassic Park was the main introduction to CGI. And I think still to this day, some of the best CGI work, computer graphic, not animation, imagery. I still think that film has some of the best CGI artwork in it. Jordan says, Keurig, question mark. I use a Keurig. People would think I'm mad, because, especially folks who knew me when I was in Napa Valley. Again, Napa Valley, it's like, it's the beverage capital of the world, right? So, at least that's what it felt like. And people knew that I was a huge coffee enthusiast. People even suggested that I start a coffee YouTube channel way back in the day. But the thing is, you know, it's like every now and then, yeah, I'll bring out the Keurig, mainly because, you know, it's a quick, you know, caffeine fix. But also, you know, the taste of coffee like Keurig, or if you, and I'm not putting down Dunkin' Donuts at all. I think this is actually a good comment towards Dunkin' Donuts. I'm going off on a tangent, guys. That, you know, going and getting the occasional cup of Dunkin' Donuts, even though I'm used to spending up to $4 for a cup of coffee in certain situations, and I'm not talking about like Starbucks Frappuccinos. I'm talking about like an individually made, hand-poured cup of coffee from Blue Bottle Coffee out of Oakland or San Francisco, something like that. But going and getting a Dunkin' Donuts coffee, it's nostalgic, right? There's nostalgia. I'm sorry to keep using that word, but I remember being a young boy and taking walks with my grandmother. I called her my Nani, and we would walk around the town. We would do the errands. You know, she wasn't one to just jump in the car. She wanted to walk. She wanted to move. And one of the things we would do before we ran our errands every day when I would stay with her during the summer is we'd go to one of those the good old-fashioned Dunkin' Donuts. You know what I mean? It looked a little bit different inside. You had the booths. You had the people reading the papers. Back then, people were smoking cigarettes inside Dunkin' Donuts, but having that cup of coffee every now and then reminds me of having that beverage reminds me of those special moments I spent with my grandmother. So, although I am a coffee aficionado, I will drink things like Keurig. I'm not that pretentious. I'm not that pompous. If I had my choice between Keurig or a cup of Ritual coffee, Equator coffee, Blue Bottle coffee, Stumptown coffee, these are all coffee roasters that I highly admire. I would certainly take that, but expensive. And to make it yourself is takes some time. Mathematics, patience. And even if you have all those things, sometimes you still get it wrong. Okay, so getting back to what I was saying, for the 4th of July, I was doing the unicorn poop, and the video that was evaluating the unicorn poop candle from Kringle Candle, and my camera was overheating. It was a disaster. I took down the live. I hardly ever do that, but it was just such a disaster. But I completely forgot that I had purchased this candle. It was just left in my office in a Yankee candle bag, and I wanted to evaluate it. It's one of the trio sets that came out. I think everyone's confused by what it is, what it's for. I think we can all assume at this point it was for the outlets. Excuse me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it came in off of the grill. Was it simply called Mojito, or did it have like another word before it? Lime Mojito, something Mojito, and then Juicy Watermelon, I believe, was the third. But off the grill, you know, that caught my attention. Some of you may be familiar with tailgating. That candle, that's interesting. That's an interesting candle. One day I'll probably evaluate that. That's a weird one. That's a weird one. Look, I put Thunderstorm. It's beautiful outside right now. It's beautiful. So what does off the grill smell like? If at this point you're saying to yourself, hey, I own that candle. I purchased that candle. Go grab it. Let's smell this together. Share your information. I'm going to keep my eyes down here. Cruz Bass says, okay. Nancy first says, well, let's go back a little bit. Christina says, this New England girl loves her dunks. Good for you, Christina. Dunkin' Donuts coffee is, I mean, it's, if you get a fresh cup, it's a decent cup of coffee. There's nothing wrong with that. To me, I would probably categorize it as like a coffee tea. To me, it's not like a, you know, what I've become so used to as far as cup of coffee. I mean, you can drink like a gallon of Dunkin' Donuts, right, and be fine. Some of the coffee I drink, I mean, if you drink it more than like a Dixie cup's worth, whew, your day will be altered. Nancy goes, I buy Dunkin' Donuts coffee every day in the subway in Chicago. Then I walk to work. I love it. It's my little ritual. See? Perfect. That sounds wonderful. That sounds that's what, to me, that is what beverages are about, right? The most important thing about beverages. It's about the personal experience. It's about the comfort. It's also about sometimes the company that you're with. But I like that little ritual, Nancy. Some candles smell very, very different when burned to me, says Cruisebat. Morgan, yes, of course, definitely. I agree 100%. And I try to, I don't know if this is what you're asking, but I try to keep that in mind as much as I possibly can when I'm giving my in-depth evaluations. Whenever you see an edited video where I'm smelling a candle cold, trust me. Whether I've burned that candle before or I have put a lot of thought into, okay, well, I know this fragrance oil, when it becomes airborne, stifles a little bit. I have enough experience to at least know that certain oils stifle, like spices, cinnamon. You can smell a candle that smells like cinnamon and be like, whoa, that is way too powerful for me. But then you burn it and you're like, well, that's actually not that's not that spicy. It's not that powerful. Cinnamon can calm down once you burn it. Some fragrance oils. So I always try to do my best to keep that in mind. There's always surprises when you burn your candles. I just haven't made the leap. I've since day one. I'm heading into my third year of the Candle Enthusiast. Unless I'm doing the Aroma Prism, I really do choose not to do burn reviews, post-burn reviews, candles while they're burning, reviewing them, only because it's such a subjective experience. We talk about this almost every week. So, I kind of talk about what it smells like cold, and based on those notes, I think hopefully it's enough information whether you can kind of make a choice whether or not you want to buy that candle. Sometimes I might be just describing a candle in my mind. I'll be like, this is probably not something I would enjoy, but I'm not going to bash that candle. I really don't do reviews. I'm just sharing exactly what I smell. And if you just like what I'm saying, if you like the descriptions that I'm using, take a chance, buy the candle, but there's always that chance it might not be exactly what you hope for. But that will and always be a part of the candle experience, the candle industry. I can't imagine what would ever change that variable. But that is a very good point, Morgan, for bringing that up. And I still want your Holyoke candle, by the way. I'm just desperately looking to get one of my own. If you guys don't remember, Morgan has one of the true treasures as far as a Yankee candle that I've ever seen. The oldest Yankee candle that I've ever seen. They don't have anything older at the Yankee Candle Village, that's for sure. They probably might have something at headquarters, but he's got a doozy. He's got a really old one. Remember that video I made at the watermill where Mike Kittredge first started Yankee Candle? Morgan's candle came from those days in the 70s and was most likely sold at the very, very first Yankee Candle store, which was located in South Hadley, Massachusetts. Okay, let's keep this going. Hard Queen Cruise. I smelled Sunkissed Thistle and it reminded me of fresh hay. So I bought a votive, and the votive smells like cologne, and I hate it. There you go. To that point, if you watch my Sunkissed Thistle review, I didn't say cologne, but I think I alluded, and I said the word perfume, and I alluded to several different things that is more of a perfume-driven candle. It smells very tart and sweet on cold sniff, but when you dig deeper, you'll find more of those typical cologne ingredients. I'm forgetting what they are right now. It feels like that was years ago. Fresh hay would be a great candle. Of course it would. Oh, and I want to share a piece of information, but I won't. Maybe we'll see a candle called Fresh Hay. Maybe. But but I can't give you any more information than that. I'm so bad at keeping secrets. But there's something very exciting in what I just said. That little nugget of information. So keep that in the back of your mind. Maybe one day we'll see a fresh hay candle. Leslie, how we doing, Leslie? Violet Moose says New Orleans girl only drinks coffee and chicory. So Cafe Du Monde. That's like my first stop when I'm in New Orleans, which isn't all the time, and I've yet to take the candle enthusiast to New Orleans. We got to get there for Halloween sometime. It may not be this year, guys, but I mean, it doesn't have to be for Halloween. Maybe we can beat the crowds by doing all the haunted, I don't want to say attractions, but the tourist haunted activities. We do them in the off season and we'll beat the crowds. We got to get down there and do some of those things, because I know you guys, so many of you guys are, you love your spooky horror content. I was so scared with the Lizzie Borden thing because, I was afraid I was gonna I know a lot of kids, a lot of you guys have children and they watch the show, and I didn't want to scare any of the kids, but I think the positive reaction of whenever I do something spooky is so good that it just makes me want to make more spooky stuff. Here's a new scent that I made for Yankee. It's fireworks. You made it, Gabe? I would love to smell that. Morgan says, my Holyoke candle is sacred, laughing out loud. Go ahead, rub it in my face. We're going to get to this off the grill candle in a second. I just want to read all your comments because you guys are really... I have a tendency to really ignore you guys, and I hate that. This is supposed to be an interactive experience. Leslie, have a fun break. Leslie is... Okay, here it goes. Leslie, hi Nancy, I'm getting ready to leave New Jersey tonight. Leslie is leaving New Jersey, her new home, I believe, right? I need a break, so I was glad to see all my friends here. Not sure where here is, but I'm glad you're taking a break, and I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. I'm glad, Leslie, that you're seeing your friends. Blended Like Brian says, so weird, Sunkissed Thistle smelled like straight lemon and lime to me. Yeah, I use those two descriptors in my evaluation. I'm not taking credit for your guys' descriptors, but I'm just kind of pointing out that I think we're all on the same page. Let me move this light a little bit closer. Yeah, that's better. That's a lot better. You think this is sunlight, but I always have to light, even the lives, I have to light these things. So not only do I have to deal with the sun, I have to deal with studio lights, if you want to call these studio lights. Is there a candle that has tonka bean as a primary scent? Ooh, that's a hard question. I have something, Gabe. Is it Gabe that asked that question? No, it's Morgan that asked the question. I have something that I'm not supposed to own. Don't tell Yankee Candle I have it. I don't think Yankee Candle will watch this secondary channel, but if they do, Yankee, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't break the law. I acquired it by legal means. But I have something called the Fragrance Finder. If you guys don't remember, prior to 2016, I've said this recently many times, Yankee Candle did not share their fragrance notes with the public. This is something that they never did. So it was this really special thing throughout the history of Yankee Candle. It was kind of like David Copperfield came out in 2016 and shared all of the tricks to his illusions, shared all the secrets. It's kind of fun because now you know all the secrets, you know what's in them. And before you knew the ingredients, there was that frustration, like, what is in this candle? What am I smelling? What am I smelling? But yes, in 2016, they came out publicly with their fragrance notes. They simplified them. They made them a little bit more poetic and, frilly and fancy. But like I said, prior to 2016, there was a pamphlet, a booklet that was called the Fragrance Finder that was issued to Yankee Candle management only. And in this book, it lists every Yankee Candle fragrance, not every Yankee Candle fragrance, but every Yankee Candle fragrance that was in production at the time that that book was printed, because they would supplement it from time to time. It would list all of the fragrance notes, and they were more realistic fragrance notes, right? They weren't these poetic, they weren't these very fun, like crisp ozone, juicy watermelon. No, if it was watermelon, it was watermelon, and if it was juicy, it would be supplemented with something like strawberry to give it the sense of you have a watermelon, and because it's juicy, we added a little bit of strawberry. So again, it was more of an accurate portrayal of what the fragrance notes were. But the management would use this pamphlet to help customers find what they wanted in the store. If someone came in and said, I like coconut, but I don't like pineapple, the manager could go through this pamphlet and kind of systematically narrow down all of the fragrance that had coconut but didn't have pineapple, so it would help them make their purchases. So for years, I tried to get my hands on this book, the Fragrance Finder, and really the only way to do it was to become a manager at Yankee Candle. I actually considered at one point becoming an employee of Yankee Candle to get my hands on this book. I won't lie, I considered it. I'm not a thief, I'm not a criminal, but I think that I'm passionate enough to say that that was something I really wanted to do. I never did do it. But recently, I think because now these fragrance notes are public, these books aren't as well, they're not locked in safes, they're not huge industry secrets anymore. They're not easy to find, but I did recently get my hands on one. So bringing that all back, if I had that book in front of me, Morgan, I would be able to help you out with the tonka bean question. And nothing is really coming to mind right now. Let me list off some tonka bean fragrances. Mulberry and Fig Delight, which was a UA candle, had tonka in it. Autumn Glow, which was in the same collection last year for autumn, had tonka in it. Autumn Gathering, 2016 US fragrance, also a European fragrance, had tonka in it. So you see a pattern here. There's a little bit of an autumnal usage to this fragrance. It doesn't necessarily smell autumnal. It's a very rich, creamy vanilla smell, tonka bean. Amber-like at times. But it's how Yankee Candle defines autumn. I'm looking at other ones here. Candy pecans, key lime pie. Again, autumn-esque. Or whenever vanilla is an ingredient, tonka can add to the complexity. Stargazer Lily, Vanilla Lime. Those are just a few that have tonka bean in them. Tonka bean is something I should probably talk about one of these days. I need to obtain a high quality tonka bean oil and talk to a professional, learn a little bit more about it myself. I said almost myself. All right, getting back to you guys. See, this does a weird thing where when I'm reading the comments, you guys will post something and it'll jump to the bottom, and then I have to go all the way back. Lizzie Bordenhouse was amazing. Hard Queen, Laura, did you hear that I called them? I tried calling the management about doing a follow-up video because they recently acquired Maplecroft. Maplecroft, again, guys, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but this is really exciting. When Lizzie Borden, the infamous axe murderess of the late 1900s, right? What was it? I can't remember can't believe I'm forgetting the date now, because I did so much homework for that special. But after she was acquitted for the murders, she purchased and built onto this beautiful house, which quickly became known as Maplecroft. And it sat there for years. Apparently, a husband and wife from Texas purchased the property and the house. They dumped hundreds of thousands of dollars. I would think millions, but apparently it was hundreds of thousands of dollars into that house to fix it up, to get it to look period correct, you know, as far as the furniture and all of that stuff. It's a huge house. And it doesn't even look like it from the outside, but it is big. It's kind of like, it almost reminds me of the Winchester Mansion. Like, you know, if you see the room, it just, it would be an amazing video to film there. So I contacted them because they acquired the owners of the Lizzie Borden house, purchased Maplecroft. The folks from Texas had to sell it because they were ready to open it up as a bed and breakfast, but there were zoning issues. So they sold it. Now the people who own the Lizzie Borden bed and breakfast own it, and they got around those zoning issues somehow, and it's, I think, opened up to the public. So I contacted them about doing a follow-up video and doing a little bit more of a documentary, you know, interviewing the owners, the management, and creating like a fun, spooky, but tourism-like video, something you would see on the Travel Channel for them. No reenactments or anything like that. That's not what I mean. I talk about just, I was trying to give them an incentive to do it by saying, like, you guys can use this for your own promotion. So I wrote them a nice, long, heartfelt email, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to be getting a response. I'm going to give them a follow-up email and phone call. But it's just, it's the name of the game, you know? Sometimes you think you can get something really easily, as far as, like, you know, putting together a segment, and it becomes the hardest thing in the world. And sometimes you think that I never thought I would get the Lizzie Borden house to myself. And yet it was probably one of the, I mean, not financially, but pulling it off was actually quite easy. Jordan says, La Colombe. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know I'm not. Cold brew is fantastic. I'm going to be making some cold brew in the coming days. I've gotten to the point where it's like, I enjoy cold brew. Making it is such a long process. So I am going to be making some of my own. La Colombe. I'm not familiar with that name or that roaster. Unless you're just referring to Colombian cold brew coffee. I love spooky stuff. I haven't been to New Orleans yet, says Nancy. Had Halloween nostalgia. I rewatched your video with Michael Myers' house, and I'm the one on all the Witches Brew candles. And the one on all the Witches Brew candles. That's cool, Nance. Nance17 going back into the candle. Excuse me, the coffee's making me burp. That's very, it's kind of embarrassing, but I'm okay with it. She's going back into the candle enthusiast library. Yes, I did a Happy Halloween candle, which is now retired, but may or may not be coming back. A black licorice candle. I did it at the Michael Myers house. The Michael Myers house from the 1978 classic John Carpenter film, their real house in South Pasadena, California. Those were the really early days. But the first time I ever visited that house, because it's now occupied by several businesses. It's not a home, like no one lives there. I believe there's a lawyer, there may be like a therapist. I think there was a couple vacancies upstairs. But because it's kind of, there are several businesses, I was able to walk into the Myers house. This was before, I didn't do it the day I filmed that video, because I visited the Myers house years before for the first time. So I actually walked into the house and got to walk up the steps. I actually walked almost the path of the tracking shot in the original Halloween film. And although I didn't go into Michael Myers' sister's room, above the doorway of the bedroom door, I don't know what are they called? You know how there's like windows on above doors sometimes? Like you see them in like film noir movies. I don't know. Maybe it's a Los Angeles thing, but there's those windows on the top of the doorways. Well, I was able to take my camera and film. Man, I should not have been doing that. This was before the day, you know, I was doing things by the books or by the rules. But I filmed it, and it was great to actually see. I mean, that, you know, Halloween, you know, it's just a part of so many people's childhood as far as, you know, people who grew up loving horror movies. And I was one of those people. I know Ford family's 2 boys loved your videos. We all watched it together. I know the Ford's family. That's fantastic. That's great. That's great to know. It's funny if I look at my analytics. Of course, I check my analytics on YouTube. It's like your statistics, how you're doing as far as views, subscription growth, the demographics, who's watching video, how long are they watching, their retention, all those things. You know, it's just something you have to do when you're a YouTuber, a responsible YouTuber, to make sure that you know, it helps you make sure that you're putting out the right material. But anyway, that Lizzie Borden video, almost a year old, is still usually on my top 5 videos as far as watch time. Now, it's a long video, but it's amazing. The views aren't high on it, but when people find it and watch it, they seem to watch the whole thing. They don't turn it on and watch like 3 minutes of it and turn it off. They must be watching the whole thing, which is really cool. And it really makes me want to make more of those kinds of videos. As much as I love sitting down and talking about candles and sharing my sensory evaluation, I've been talking to a lot of you folks personally about this, that I really miss, and I wish that I just can't wait to the point where the candle enthusiast becomes something where we can travel year round. Right now, with the budget that we have, you know, candle evaluations is kind of the bulk of the year, but then I kind of take and save our money that we raise through eBay and through ads on YouTube and through Patreon donations. I take all of that money and try to schedule out holiday festivities. So September, October, November, December. But I just can't wait to the day where, you know, if we, you know, triple our audience and we get a little bit more donations, we have a little bit more funds. Again, will always be a self-funding show. Just think of PBS, right? It's just like the more folks who chip in $1, throw in a couple dollars here. I have subscription boxes on Patreon. I'm kind of like slipping in my little pitch for my Patreon account right now. But, you know, a lot of you folks, on a monthly basis, we're raising money for the Candle Enthusiast Aromatic Adventures. But unfortunately, it's not enough money that could get us through an entire year of traveling. So maybe one day soon, we will be traveling, reviewing candles, visiting candle companies, constantly be traveling. And the less time I can spend, I love my home base. This is where I disconnect. This is where I truly find myself. But the more time I can spend on the road, I think, man, to me, that is a dream. I mean, some people have dreams of like buying a house and you know, they dream of people. A lot of people have dreams, right? Well, my dream is a little bit different than other people's. You know, my priorities are a little bit skewed. I've been locked down for so long that I love the idea of just constantly traveling. And I'm really good at spending time by myself, which sounds really sad, but spending time by myself is really helpful, because that means I can travel and make these videos with just me. It's just me, my camera, my computer. I edit, I light, I do everything myself. You guys seem to be okay with the quality of the videos. All right, let's get back on track here. Halloween can't come fast enough, says Nikki. Well, I could guess Nikki would say something like that. Big shout out to Washington Wicks. If anyone, and I do see some candle enthusiast subscription members here. I don't want to call you out by name. If you want to say who you are, that's fine. I just don't want to pinpoint anybody out. But there is a candle enthusiast subscription box, and last month, or with this box, it should have arrived, if not already. It should have arrived. If not, it will very soon. We did instead of a Halloween or a July, Christmas in July, we did a Halloween in July themed box. And what I try to do with the subscription boxes, twice a year, July and December, I try to really pump those. I fill those boxes. I'm a little bit extra generous. I go above and beyond the budget of what those boxes really should be. But I loaded it up with Witch City wicks. We loaded up with Yankee candle products, and it was a pleasure to include Nikki's Washington wicks. We had a Washington wicks candle. If you're not familiar with Washington Wicks or Nikki, who's with us right now, very new, brand new candle company. She hit the ground running, and I'm a total admirer of not only the range of her candles, but also the quality. I should say the variety of her candles. Because they're not all the. There's such a range. They're playful, they're spooky, there's something for everybody. So make sure you reach out to Washington Wicks. But Washington Wicks was included in the subscription box last month. And I also sent Anthony from Candle Cafe when we did our little mystery box video. If you haven't seen that video, go to Candle Cafe. Watch Anthony's video. I sent him a mystery box. Anthony sent me one too. We made 2 videos. But I included Frog Snot by Washington Wicks. And although that name may sound a little bit icky, let me tell you, it's one of the most endearing, most delicious aromatic experiences. It truly was something I had to send to Anthony because I know what Anthony likes. I'm starting to learn a lot about his preferences, and I knew he was going to love that one. And out of the candles I sent him, he named that like one of his favorites. I think he said it was, he picked 2 kind of that were his favorites, but Frog Snot was one of them. So you're getting 2 testimonials here. You're getting the Candle Enthusiast, and you're getting Candle Cafe, Washington Wicks. And we need to support people like Nikki, because for me, it's about the small artists who need the attention. They need a little bit of a boost, right? Liz from Witch City Wicks. What if she gave up in the first year? We wouldn't have all of her wonderful products, right? But thankfully, she's found an audience, and hopefully, I had a very, very, very small part in that process, where she's doing great. We just spoke not too long ago, and she couldn't exclaim enough how many of you folks from the Candle Enthusiasts have been reaching out to her, not just to be purchasing candles, but just to share like nice comments, to say hello, to follow her on Instagram, Witch City Wicks. We also talked about future collaborations, so Liz and I will be doing stuff together in the near future. But yes, please let me just put that on your radar, Washington Wicks. And as we get closer to the Halloween season, I'm gonna start breaking out her candles. And I'm seeing somebody else I want to give a shout out to. Industrial Wasteland, Chris, I hope you don't mind me using your first name. I just put out my evaluation of the 8th and the last Yankee Candle fall fragrance, Blue Twilight Storm. And when I filmed it, I enjoyed the candle. It wasn't what I was expecting. I don't think it was what a lot of people were expecting. But I still enjoyed it a lot. And after I edited the video and posted it, I like slapped myself in the head. I'm like, I did not give a shout out out of the just the generosity, his own generosity, the graciousness out of his own heart. He found Blue Twilight Storm in Oklahoma City. And instead of saying, "What I got, guess what I got?" He was happy to send me the candle in the mail so that I could evaluate it, because I just simply could not find it. It's still, to this day, hard to find. I finally found a perfect pillar of it on eBay. But as far as the outlets are concerned, I still can't find that candle. When it's coming out, it will coincide, it has to, it will coincide with the Halloween releases. So pretty much it'll be coming out maybe the week before or the same week as the Halloween products for the Halloween preview party. Rachel said, just popping in to say hi. I have to go back out, but Nicole brought to my attention that YouTube unsub channels from people's YouTube accounts. So please check that you guys are still subscribed. Yes, what Rachel's referring to is YouTube is doing massive purges, not like the horror film, right? There's no murdering or crime involved. But what they're doing is, if your account, your YouTube account, is stagnant, you don't watch a lot of stuff. Let's say you don't sign into your account for over a month. What happens is YouTube is getting suspicious, and what they'll do is they'll unsubscribe you to all of the people you have subscribed to. So what happens to me, what happens to every YouTuber, whether sometimes it's once a week, sometimes it's once a month, you'll notice I'll look at my subscription count and I notice I just dropped 75 subscribers. Like, what just happened? Subscribers. It's a lot of people, and a lot of those people, yeah, some of those accounts may be, you know, people creating accounts and not really using them. I know some people who create several accounts so they can comment multiple times. I know a couple of those people. So accounts like that remain stagnant they don't get erased, but they automatically get unsubscribed to everyone that they're following. So what Rachel is saying is, make sure that you're still subscribed to the YouTubers that you follow and support. And for my sake, make sure that you're subscribed to not only Aromatically Speaking here, but also The Candle Enthusiast. We're having some great growth the past 2 months, which is really putting a smile on my face, because again, the more growth that we have, the more credibility that we have, and the more people take us seriously. I wasn't going to mention this, but guess what? Since the Harry Slacken video, since our recent growth in subscribers, we have exclusive village candles coming our way, colonial candles coming our way. We have coming our way, and oh boy, I'm forgetting the other company, Crossroads candles coming our way. This is great. This is how you run a self-funded YouTube channel, right? I'm not bragging that I'm getting candles for free, but if you're making a show that is going to be self-funded, it's really nice when candle companies are supporting your video. Like I said to you, it keeps everything in motion. So growth, I'm telling you, growth, subscription numbers. It's not about a popularity contest. It's about opening up windows of opportunities. Oh, and look at this, Trisha, subscription box member. I hope she's okay with me saying that. Nikki, the Washington Wicks candle smelled great. Testimonial straight from the fan. I agree with you, Trisha. And Trisha, I love your emoji, or Nikki, I love your emojis in response. Nikki says, I have so much fun blending fragrances and creating the labels. Well, you do a wonderful job of doing both. So keep going. I'm going to keep supporting you. I'm going to keep pushing you. I'm not going to allow you to stop. I don't think you will stop, but I'm going to, I want to make sure your candles are going to be shared with people who really do appreciate them. Industrial Wasteland. I love the old apple tree. Yeah, so Chris, okay, again, I guess you're okay with me saying that you're another subscription box member. Again, subscription boxes are available through patreon.com, patreon.com/The Candle Enthusiast. The deluxe subscription box is sold out, but there's plenty of other options for everybody. But I sent Chris another one of Nikki's candles, which was honestly one of my favorites out of her. I guess it's a part of your Halloween collection, Nikki. The old apple tree. That's not the full name, but I knew how much, because I'm learning a lot about the subscription box members, and I learned what they like, what they don't like, and I try to customize the boxes to everybody every month. And I really have a pretty decent grasp on what Chris enjoys, and I knew he would love that fragrance. Nikki describes it as it's nice and crisp. Thanks, Industrial Wasteland. Yeah, I was down there visiting and shipped it. He's talking about Oklahoma when he shipped the candle. Yeah, I was down there visiting Oklahoma and shipped it 1 minute before the post office closed back in Colorado. Thank you, Chris, and I will make it up to you. I just apologize that I didn't give you the appropriate shout out on that video. I edited the video and I'm like, I can't believe I forgot to mention it. And then I've had several opportunities to make up for it, but I also forgot. So I will make it up to you. Nancy, Colorado. Who knew, Chris? So nice of you. Yes, it was very nice of you. I was watching the ads too. I hope that helps. I always watch the ads too. Sweet. Which Nancy's saying is the pre-ads on the beginning of my videos. You know how you can skip them after 5 seconds? Well, if you watch the whole thing, a few pennies come in my direction. I'm not telling you to do that. But the fact that Nancy is doing that is super sweet. Eric says, when are we getting a Candle Enthusiast Washington Wicks coupon? Well, let me talk to Nikki about that, well, for one, but let me also create a video highlighting Washington Wicks. So this way you guys have a good grasp of what she has to offer. I'm imagining, when you're starting a candle company, you create a lot of scents, and then, maybe you decide to keep some, maybe stop making a few, introduce some new ones. So I want to make sure that I'm highlighting candles that are her favorites, ones that she wants to promote. I will step on this. We will get to this. July is a very busy month right now, working on several collaborations. And believe it or not only is autumn and Halloween filling up my time, but Christmas, surprisingly, is filling up my time because Christmas in July. So I'm going to be working as fast as I can, and we're going to be getting to Halloween candles as soon as possible. But Eric, to answer your question, we'll talk about that to Nikki. We'll see what we can do. Maybe a promo code, maybe something else, maybe some other incentive. Again, when we have a new company, we want to make sure that she is she's reaping some benefits for all the hard work she's putting in. Chris says, nah, it's all good. I appreciate that, Chris. Nikki, it's a part of the PNW line. Help me out there, Nikki. That line has facts about the name of the candle that is situated in Washington or Oregon. PNW, Pacific Northwest line. I figured it out. Frog Snot H. Washington Wicks, WashingtonWicks.etsy. The kind of playful, cartoony Mickey Mouse nostalgia. I'm back. I'm back. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why? The reception is wonderful, and I'm getting cut off. So my point was saying, if you like the playful Halloween thing, frog snot is a candle that you gotta have. I'm not saying it smells like Count Chocula, Frankenberry, or Blueberry. I'm not saying it smells like breakfast cereal. What I'm saying is that it's a fun candle. It doesn't smell like, you know, Witch City Wicks, like holy ground. You know what I mean? Like it's not a gothic candle. It's a fun candle that children will love. Adults who are children at heart will love. In fact, I think somebody mentioned something about Burke and Hare. I saw Burke and Hare, and I don't know if I missed the comment. I did a couple Burke and Hare evaluations last year, and Erica, I believe, Erica from Burke and Hare, she's super wonderful, sent me a bunch of products. I evaluated them in the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Another great, follow them on Instagram. They have a pretty big Instagram following, but you'll get a sense of the kind of candles they make. It's like a Witch City Wicks. I think the reason why that I haven't gone back to Erica to say, like, let's make another video, like I will at some point, but right away, is that thematically their company is so close to Witch City Wicks, and I just don't want to be repeating myself with the same kind of fragrances from different companies. But I mean, really, if you smell a lot of Burke and Hare fragrances and Witch City Wicks fragrances, a lot of them are similar. So I found that out very quick, and so I really enjoy Burke and Hare, but I really, and this is hopefully if Erica one day or somehow ever hears this, she doesn't take this to heart. This is nothing against Burke and Hare, but I'm a dear lover, follower of not only Witch City Wicks, but Liz Fraser as an artist. So I don't want to be doing too many companies that have the same themes. I would rather do like a Witch City Wicks, and then I'm going to be doing Spireside. I've been saying that for 6 months. I'm going to be doing a Spireside huge haul and videos, and then you know, switch it up. And I have a lot of other candle companies that I'm talking to that thematically, brand-wise, they just produce different kinds of candles. I just want to mix it up as much as I can. I have Nevermore from Burke and Hare. Says, Chris says Nevermore from Burke and Hare is nice. So here's something that I will be doing, Chris. Nevermore is an Edgar Allan Poe themed Burke and Hare candle. However, Patty Wax, do we know Patty Wax? We know Patty Wax. They have an Edgar Allan Poe has an Edgar Allan Poe themed candle. And who am I forgetting? Werther and Gray. Werther and Gray has an Edgar Allan Poe theme. You know where I'm going with this. You know what I have to do. I have to get all of those Edgar Allan Poe candles. This is going to be one of a nice little segment for Halloween. I'm going to do a side-by-side of all of those candles. I'm not going to do a contest, say which one's the best, but I'll at least share with you my thoughts about the candles, and then see if we can figure out the concepts, because a lot of the times with Edgar Allan Poe, you can just throw some absinthe aroma in the candle and call it a day, because everybody knows Edgar Allan Poe and absinthe, right? But there's a lot. I mean, you know, was a very complicated human being, Edgar Allan Poe, and his stories are a hotbed of conceptual ideas. So I want to make sure I get a little Edgar Allan Poe special together. If the resolution of the video is not wonderful, I apologize. PBS had a great show about Edgar Allan Poe last year. I wonder if I saw it, Chris. I've watched a lot of stuff on Edgar Allan Poe, and if I ever make it down to Baltimore, I'll certainly do an Edgar Allan Poe video. Morgan says that I'm being lost. Yeah, so it looks like maybe, I'm looking at my screen, it looks a little bit soft to me, like the resolution is going. Nikki says I can't wait for that evaluation. So, all right. That was a long talk. If we'll get better. But I said I was gonna smell this off the grill, and unfortunately we have a really bad timing lawnmower. I'm telling you, lawnmowers every day, all the time, they seem to know exactly when I'm out filming. Let's give this candle a smell. Do you guys have it? Do you have it? Do you have it in your hands? I gotta read this comment. Isn't there somewhere appropriate to do Edgar Allan Poe candles, historic to Poe? Well, Boston, Edgar Allan Poe, and even Salem, he spent some time in that area, so that would be the easier. But Baltimore is where he spent a large portion of his life. It's where he died. It's where he's buried. It's where his apartment. I don't think it was it a house? Maybe it was a house. But I can see the house where he lived and the window where he would write all of his stories. I can see that house in my head down in Baltimore. So that would be the best place. But I'll find some place good to do those evaluations. Off the grill. So again, outlets, it popped up. A lot of people complained about the label. I don't blame you. However, at this point, it's like, you know, I don't know what to say. But this was a part of a trio collection. I mean, what's surprising is it doesn't smell. What's surprising, and probably a good thing, it doesn't smell like something off the grill. All right? I mean, I don't know how much I smell like charred hot dogs, charred burgers, off the grill in a candle. I don't know if I would dig that. I mean, I'm pretty hardcore when it comes to candles, but I you know, hamburgers, hot dogs, not cool. I don't even smell smokiness in this candle. I'll tell you what I'm smelling. This has a musky sandalwood aroma, which I guess could provide a little bit of, like, if you're using some wood planks to grill something, like hickory smoke on the grill. I guess there's a little bit of that. There's a sweet charcoal-like aroma. I don't know what that would be in the candle that would make it smell that way. But if you smell this, the little like the saucers. I can't believe I can't talk right now. But it smells like and maybe a couple days later, and you go back and you smell that grill. You know, there's that sweet charcoal, ashy smell. And that's kind of what I get. A little bit of charcoal, a little bit of this kind of mesquite, hickory, sandalwood aroma. So take all that, just keep that in the grill. We have the big... I don't know what to say. Folks. I apologize. I'm back. I don't know what to say. I know what to say. I will be fixing this problem. Because if this is annoying you a little bit, every Sunday, this happening, trust me that it's annoying me a lot. So I will be fixing this connection problem. So let's take that grill, expired charcoal, mesquite, hickory, maybe a little bit of smoke, right? But then take that bottle of cola, store grocery brand cola. dump it into that grill basin, because there is a little bit of a flat cola aroma here. But man, what else? I mean, really. I mean, that's a nice smell. So I'm not saying there's like I don't like this candle. I mean, it smells nice. It's a lighter smell. It's a while, so it's a chance to heat up. There's a little bit of cologne. So that's why I keep going back to kind of like I didn't say cedar wood, but maybe like a cedar wood, sandalwood. I think just the problem that I think maybe you guys are having with this candle, and something that maybe I'm expressing with this candle, is that off the grill, if you're gonna take that leap and you're gonna name a candle off the grill, and you get something like this. Has anybody else got any good descriptors? I mean, I'm tapped out. I'm tapped out. I mean, I've given you what I have. I'm giving you exactly what I smell. There's a woodiness, there's the charcoal, there's a little bit of the expired charcoal ashiness, which could be the smoke, but it's also because I'm smelling that sandalwood, and the sandalwood and the cedar wood is giving me the association of the cologne. So it's a little bit of Mantown thing going on, but Coca-Cola. Would I buy this candle? Well, if you can find it at the outlet for $8, I would say get it, burn it. But conceptually, I always said I'm all about positivity, but I would be the first person to say when a candle is made irresponsibly. And I think that this might be a situation where I think this candle might be made a little bit irresponsibly, Yankee. I still love you, Yankee, but I mean, I think if someone orders a candle called Off the Grill, they're going to be excited to see conceptually what you put together. And this one is just a nice, pleasant, subtle candle to burn. But the name is kind of like false advertising. Violet Moon says, it sounds like a good candle to me. It is. I'm sure if I decide to burn it, I don't know if I will, I'm sure it'll smell good. I think that conceptually, maybe we could find a better name. Maybe instead of saying Off the Grill, could we call it like, this is a terrible name, but think of something more like Grilling on Sunday. It's a terrible name, Grilling on Sunday. But what that's implying is that you're grilling, but it's not literally off the grill. You hear me? You know what I mean? Like if this smelled like Coca-Cola, or if this smelled like cocktails and a little bit of hickory smoke, then you have a larger concept. But off the grill, you're kind of limiting yourself to... it's funny that Nancy says grilled corn smells awesome. Did somebody use that as a descriptor? I would have loved to use that as a descriptor. If somebody did, I will go there with you, but I don't know if I get it. If it's similar to Autumn Dusk, I may have to pick it up. This is not similar to Autumn Dusk, Christina. It really isn't. Autumn Dusk, a lot of people gave it a hard time. They weren't fans of it. I kind of take that back. I think a lot of people were fans of it. People really trashed Roll. But Autumn Dusk, to me, is a really, really well-made candle. And it's one of those situations where I apologize if you guys disagree. I think the US label is essential to that fragrance. The European label doesn't evoke the same story. It loses my attention. the European label. And the reason is because the US label for Autumn Dusk looks scary. It looks creepy. It looks ominous. It looks like, you know, it's sunset and you have to walk through that thick fog. And it's really, the colors are really, like I said, saturated and deep. Where the Autumn label is cropped. It's cropped too. It's just cropped in a different way. And it's not as saturated. And when you look at it, it looks a little bit more pretty. It loses that ominous feel. It loses that sense of something foreboding lurks beyond that fog. So all you guys can find Autumn Dusk. It was an online exclusive last year. Get it. Get it. My alternate name for that candle, I love coming up with alternate names, was Scarecrow. I think Scarecrow would have been a wonderful name for that candle, and it could have been released for a Halloween fragrance. And don't steal, nobody steal that name, Scarecrow. I want that one for me if I ever make a candle one day. Violet Moon says, ominous makes me love it more. Yeah, it's kind of how I felt. I've heard of other people make comparisons between the two, really. But I've never personally smelled off the grill candle. So comparing this, there is absolutely no baking spices in here. Autumn Dusk has some severe dried hay, dried vegetation, like tall blades of grass that have been baking in the sun, like there's a drought. Hay bales, that haunted hayride in the autumn time. It has baking spices to it. It has a cedar note to it. As you can tell, I really remember this candle well. I think people are drawing comparisons because of the woodiness. But other than the woodiness, I don't know. I mean, I'll be the first person to say that I'm wrong. But I definitely don't. I think a lot of people just like to, instead of, this is what I think, and this is not me hating this, I'm still super positive, but I think a lot of people, when they describe candles, it's so much easier for them to say, this is what I smell, this, but also, let me talk about this, let me talk about this, let me talk about this, let me talk about the concept. I think it's a lot easier for someone to go, you know what, this kind of smells like this candle from last year. Let's move on to the next candle. You see what I'm saying? I think a lot of people, so be careful when you see people compare. That guy's having problems with his lawnmower. I have to admit, I'm kind of happy. Anyway. But yeah, some of the things I notice when I watch, and I don't watch YouTube reviews. But I'm talking more about, like, if I go into Yankee Candle and I'm talking to an associate and someone says this candle is, you know, it smells like this candle, like it's a repackage. Like people are saying, so quick to say Blue Twilight Storm was a repackage of last year's City Lights. And if it is, it is. But you know what? It still smells different to me. So I think that I had the two candles in my hand. I think it's more important that I explain why they smell different. Even if Yankee just blatantly says they are the same candle, if they are the same candle, fine. They still smell different. And that is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about why they smell different. So again, a lot of people doing big hauls on YouTube, be careful when they say it smells a little bit like this candle, smells a little bit like that candle, and move on. You know, it just makes me think that they're really not, they're not digging hard enough. Come on, guys, dig. If you really want to evaluate candles and you want to review them and you want to use that word review, dig, you know, dig. What do we got here? I got an eBay reminder. Oh, I don't want to bid on that item. I don't want to bid on that one. The other, well, let's see how this works. I don't know if I'm gonna lose you guys. We're about 72 minutes in. This was something that was just making their way on my property. That's cool. Oh, look at it! It's Boo. It's Boo. You guys know Boo. It's Elston. Can you see me? I'm coming back. All right, guys, this is gonna be it. We're gonna do this. I have a few announcements, and then we're gonna wrap things up. And I'm gonna save the candle that I really wanted to talk about right here, Cottage Breeze. I guess I'm just gonna have to go to the beach. How's that sound? I'm gonna go to the beach and make a video and evaluate that candle. This live situation, until the office is fixed and my phone and my computer is hardwired with the internet, I'm not going to be satisfied with these lives. I hate when they break up like this. But this little cup was sent to me by Brett, Mr. Philly Candleman. He sent it to me when he sent me frosty gingerbread. I'm guessing he had a little bit of extra wax that he wasn't going to use, or maybe, I don't know why. He didn't really explain why he sent this one to me specifically, but I always like surprises. This is a Bath & Body Works. This is some Bath & Body Works wax. The fragrance Lavender Marshmallow. Lavender Marshmallow. That sounds like a really, I'm not making fun of the candle, but that sounds like something you would get at a really like high-end fancy French restaurant. Like, here's some lavender oil infused confectionery fluffy dessert hors d'oeuvre served on a cracker and a glass of sparkling wine. It's just a very weird combination. And I have smelled this, and it smells wonderful. I kind of got a little wax on my nose. It smells like lavender. It smells like fluffy marshmallow. It smells like, you know what? Because it smells like lavender, and lavender's a little, you know, of course, a little fruity, or it's giving this a little fruitiness. It's kind of making me remind of like, not necessarily like marshmallows, like campfire marshmallows, like Stay Puft marshmallows, but like Lucky Charms. Woo. Little Lucky Charms action happening here. But here's what I find that's really interesting, and if anybody has this candle, please chime in. There is a sourness here that might sound unattractive. But hear me out, because there's a lot of sour things that we enjoy. But let me throw you a few examples. Like, say, I said before in my other live, I said cream cheese. Cream cheese has that sour, a little bit of sour note. So yogurt has a little bit of a sour note. Other dairy products have sour notes, but I won't mention anything that's going to sound disgusting. But what this kind of smells like to me is sour cream. It kind of smells like sour cream. Does anybody else have this candle and experience that? It smells like you made like some form of like ambrosia salad, but only it's made with like marshmallow, lavender, and maybe for lack of a better fruit, some berries and some sour cream. Like, this smells like a floral, fruity, sour cream garnish. It's interesting. It's sweet. It's nice. I would have to see how this burns. I see why Philly Candleman sent me this, because it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. The marshmallow and lavender sounds weird enough, but that sour cream thing that I'm picking up on is probably the weirdest part. But it may not necessarily be a bad thing. In fact, it might be a great thing. So I'll have to break out one of my, I don't do a lot of tart or wax melting, like wax cube melting, but I'll have to break one out and test that out. in the near future. I have lavender lemonade. That one sounds good. Anyone buying Homeworks today on QVC? The sale is only today, I think. It is only today. And just to be clear, some people are asking me this morning, you know, I don't want to get into the drama of YouTube, but you know, a lot of people were saying like there were a lot of favorable reviews. Some people were mentioning that other people were mentioning that other people were mentioning through the grapevine that these Homeworks candles were getting favorable reviews because they did send a lot of free candles to reviewers, right? It's kind of hard to, I would imagine, I think it's a good argument to say if you receive really nice products in the mail for bad or negative review, right? But what's important for if I can just chime in for a second, because I know there's some deliberation there. I've never burned a Homeworks candle before. I've smelt Homeworks candles before. My favorite is the one that Anthony sent me, which was the salted caramel, ooey gooey salted caramel. Oh, good God. Was that a great smelling candle? I haven't burned it yet. But yes, Homeworks did send me the candles out of just being, I think, a great marketing PR tactic. But I think it was very genuine on their part. So I gave the holiday collection a very favorable review, in my opinion. If I rewatched it a couple times, I should have cut it down. It's a little bit too long, my video, but watch it if you haven't, okay? Because I think I bring up a lot of good points. And if you watched QVC last night, I'm not saying Harry did. I'm not saying he did, but it sounded like maybe he took a couple of my descriptors, a couple, maybe just a couple. And it's probably the only time I don't mind someone stealing a descriptor from me. He's completely allowed. But I gave it a favorable review. But the main point is review. I don't review candles, guys. I put reviews in the headlines of my evaluations. Why? Because that's what people search. Yankee Candle review, Bath & Body Works review, Homeworks review, Which City Wicks review. People use that word review. I've never looked at what I've done as reviews. I will smell this candle, and whether I hate it or not, I want to give you an accurate portrayal of what I smell. Just because I hate it does not mean that you're gonna hate it. Harry Slacken said something in Anthony's interview that's really intelligent, that makes me believe that he has really put a lot of time thinking about the philosophy of aromatics. He's a Marcel Proust fan, let's put it that way. He's read The Remembrance of Things Past or In Search of Long Time, because he's very sharp on the notion of association memories. A lot of people don't like patchouli. Maybe not necessarily because they don't like the smell of patchouli, but because of associations, right? I thought I was allergic to cinnamon my whole life. My brothers thought they were allergic to cinnamon their whole life. Our whole life, we stayed away from cinnamon, right? Because our mother is allergic to cinnamon. So when we were kids, whenever there was a cinnamon fragrance, our mother would really get ill. She'd get sick. So that created a negative association in our brain from a very early age, to the point where whenever we smelt cinnamon, we felt like we were getting ill as well. However, I eat cinnamon probably every day now. I'm not allergic to cinnamon. So where am I going with this? Scent association. Yeah, so when I give my evaluations, I'm leaving the door open. I'm not trying to shove my opinion down your throat. I'm trying to give a portrayal of the fragrance. And then maybe at the end of the video, I'll say, like, my thoughts. If I really don't like something, but I think if it's a well-made candle, I just won't review it. That's the way I deal with it. right? You know, or if I think, like I said, in a case like this may be the only hard on a Yankee candle. Seriously, in the 2 years, this is probably the only time I may have been a little bit extra hard on a Yankee candle. But that's because I've always said, if I feel like a candle is made irresponsibly, it's not a preference thing. It's not because this is not my preference. But if I feel like if it's made irresponsibly, then I feel like I have an obligation to say something to you. But I don't do reviews. My job is to explain, communicate to you what I smell. If I smell something, I try to find the best words and the best ways, try to put a portrait in your head so that you understand where I'm coming from. That is my job. That is why I try not to use the word review. I started using the word analysis, like early on. And then other people started using the word analysis. So that got kind of confusing. So I switched from analysis to evaluation. And then now other people are using the word evaluation. I'm like, dang, I don't know what to do, because I really want to separate. I'm not doing a Siskel and Ebert one of these. I don't want you guys to think that I do that. So that's why I say things like sensory evaluation, because I can't imagine somebody actually saying, this is my sensory evaluation. Oh, the other one was in-depth analysis. I tried putting the in-depth in there to make it seem a little bit more like I was doing a wine review. But, wow. Okay, so that was a tangent. I'm gonna save Cottage Breeze for Atlantic City. We're going to Atlantic City. Secret. If you guys have hung in this long, you deserve a little secret. But I'll also be bringing cotton candy and saltwater taffy with me. And we'll try to have a little bit of fun while in Atlantic City. If you know anything about me, though, I'm not a beach person. I like secluded beaches. But I'm not necessarily into the beach culture. You know what I mean? Like, people walking around half naked sounds good to some people. To me, I don't know. Having a lot of nakedness around me is not something I'm keen on. So the beach culture is not my thing. But I really want to find some hardcore nostalgia in Atlantic City. The steel pier, saltwater taffy, of course, the cotton candy. Somebody just said, who said it? Lord Flacco said Boardwalk Empire. Yeah, when my grandmother used to go to Atlantic City for the first time. When my mother, when she was a kid, went to Atlantic City for the first time. It was a different kind of tourist destination. So I'm gonna try to find some nostalgic things to dig into while I'm there. Nancy says, you just have to watch one video and you know Shane's style is different. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. I never want to, by me explaining myself the way I did, make it sound like I'm putting other people down. Again, it's just another reason why I stay away from candle reviews. Because I don't, like I said, I don't want to be influenced by somebody else's hard work. I'm kind of happy the way I conduct my videos, so keeping it to myself and just watching other YouTubers but non-candle reviewers is my way of kind of growing and expanding. And of course I have friends, very close friends now, that are YouTubers, that are candle reviewers. And what I do there, they ask me, some of them ask me, do you ever watch any of my videos? I say, well, I'll watch like your opening, and I'll skim through, and I'll watch maybe the closing, I'll leave a comment. But if they're reviewing a candle that I plan on reviewing, I don't want to watch it, because somebody like Anthony, Philly Candleman, Doug, excuse me if I'm forgetting so many other people, but I mean, they come up with some good descriptors. Anthony really comes up with some really good nostalgic descriptors. And I could totally see myself listening to one of his reviews and stealing one of his descriptors by accident. I don't want to do that. It's the worst thing in the wine world when you're talking about a wine and you kind of come up with your own way of, with your customers, explaining what a wine is. You explain the character of the wine to them, and you kind of come up with the story, and you set the mood and you set the scene. And then you see somebody else who's in the same field as you are, say a sommelier, who's watching my speech from behind. And then later on, you see them kind of stealing my story. Like, I'm a nice guy, I'm a fair guy, but I don't like when people steal my stories. So I certainly don't want to steal other people's stories. Going on a long tangent. All right, folks, so this is how it works. Cottage Breeze, we know that story. We looked at Off the Grill. I would buy it if you can get it for cheap. You probably will like the smell. If I decide to burn this, I probably will like the smell. I just do want to warn you that Off the Grill is a little bit misleading as far as the name is concerned. The Candle Enthusiast mugs, this is the story. There's plenty left. They are available on the Candle Enthusiast eBay page. Lots of people have them now. It's super cool. A lot of other YouTubers have them, which is super cool. But I really do want to let you know, this is for you guys. If you want one, get one, but don't feel obligated to buy one because I'm really not making a fortune on this. This was really more as a gift to you guys. I've made a limited edition of 50 of these mugs. The rainbow effect is in reference to the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I think all you guys know this at this point. When the 50 are gone, I will maybe make more mugs, but it will never be this design again. So that's one. Also, Patreon.com, guys. This is big. This is big. You know I'm very bashful. This guy is driving me nuts. You know I'm very bashful when it comes to suggesting, asking for money, donations, pledges, stuff like that, contributions, pledges. I just want to remind you, to be a responsible YouTuber, I have to remind you, just check it out. As a favor to me, patreon.com/The Candle Enthusiast, or just go to the Patreon website and type in The Candle Enthusiast. What it'll do is it'll actually inform you a little bit of my own mission statement, stuff that maybe you don't know. It'll tell you what my plans are for the future, what I'm trying to do with the Candle Enthusiast channel, what I'm trying to do with Aromatically Speaking, how your money, the pledges, the contributions is being used, whatever you can afford. You don't have to do it. You don't. In fact, if you don't want to, I wouldn't want you to if you didn't want to. But the truth of the matter is, the more people we have like throwing in $1, every now and then we have someone throwing like $5. They get a postcard. Oh yeah. Every about 4 months I send out postcards to the people who hit that tier. Higher tier, $20, you get your name at the end of every single Candle Enthusiast episode on the wall of flame. And if you're a business, I don't know if I have a lot of businesses watching, but like Witch City Wicks, I'm not asking her to pledge money, but like if you have a little business, you can get like a little plug there at the end of my video on the wall of flame. So that's the way it works. That title card that comes up with all the names, those folks are contributing a certain amount a month to get their name there. And then we have something that nobody has yet to do, and yet I think it's one of the coolest things on Patreon. It's called the hard drive, the flash drive of exclusivity. It's a hard word to say. That means every month you're going to receive a little flash drive in the mail from me that's going to have tons of goodies. It's going to have all the documents that I put together with all of my fragrance notes, my own personal information, like not personal information, but like my personal candle notations that I put together before I make my videos. Let's say I'm researching Halloween or Christmas, right? I have all my documents on my computer well organized. I'll share some of that information. There's also, in the subscription box, I include the Candle Enthusiast newsletter. That will come on there. But also pictures that are on my phone that I don't post on Instagram or I don't post on Facebook. There's a lot of fun pictures that I take, and videos. I'll just put my phone down in the middle of Yankee Candle and just start going off for 20 minutes. I'll put that on there. But what will be on that hard drive, guaranteed every month, is a personalized video for you, right? So you can just simply contact me and be like, you know what, I really want to learn a little bit more about how you go through the process of evaluating a candle. I can make a video for you to show you exactly what I do. Or if you're saying, you know what, you talk a lot about wine, but you've never made a wine evaluation video. I would really like to learn kind of the etiquette of going wine tasting. Can you make a video for me showing me this? You can request all of these things. And as long as it's something that's like cool, something I don't mind doing, I'll totally make a personalized video just for you. It'll go on that hard drive, be sent to you. It won't be posted. It is your video. I'll put as much stuff on that hard drive as possible. Thumbnails to all my videos. And if I come up with other cool ideas of other things to include on there, oh, like this, like bloopers. You guys like to see the outtakes and the bloopers. I'm gonna start doing that more often, and I'll include a lot of like deleted scenes and bloopers. I'll try to make it worth it as possible, but I thought that's a really cool idea to offer that. And nobody's taken advantage of that yet, so make sure you check that out. Also, we have 3 options as far as subscription boxes. The deluxe subscription box is sold out currently. That means if all of the spots are filled up, but if someone backs out at some point, which I hope nobody does, but you know, I think if that ever does happen, there will be an opening. But there is a subscription box. I don't want to call it a standard subscription box. It's an awesome box. It's just not the deluxe. And then there's this subscription box mini, which is filled with pretty much the same things, but instead of getting like a full-size candle, you get like samples. So this way you're spending a lot less money. You get the samples, you're getting the same experience, but you're not getting like the full massive candle experience. And because it's a smaller box, I can pack it up a little bit more because shipping is cheaper because it's smaller items. And also I just included another tier, a top tier. It's a lot of money. It's for someone who's very, very serious about contributing to, I won't say just the candle enthusiast, but my creative efforts for the candle enthusiasts, or more specifically, aromatic adventures. There's a tier called the producer, and I've deliberated doing this because the last thing I would want to do is just come off like I'm taking money from you guys, but. The producer tier is for someone who's really passionate. I've had several people really reach out to me, and people who like work in the industry, who work in whether it be television, maybe film, or doing digital work, cutting trailers. But I've had people contact me and say, I really admire what you're doing, almost to the point where they're like, I kind of want to become an investor. I want to become a producer. I want to be a producer on the show. So I created this tier called the producer, where if you are passionate enough and you see that what I'm trying to do, and you get what I'm trying to do, and you trust me that I'm, like I said, that I'm not just, like Anthony puts it, like taking your money and going out and buying a brand new pair of shoes. If you want to invest, be an investor, be a producer of the Candle Enthusiasts and Aromatic Adventures, and are looking at it in the long term, there's a tier for that. And the way that'll work is a producer, you'll be a producer. You will be a legit producer that will be credited on every single project that is promoted, because your contribution is precisely doing just that. You're helping produce the content, and I will even lovingly open my ears to you for suggestions, to talk to you on the phone, to see, to kind of work with you to see if work out potential future projects. I know there's a lot of people who are really, really excited about what I'm trying to do, and I just want to give some of those people an opportunity, if they would like, to jump on board and really become a legit producer of the Candle Enthusiast or Aromatic Adventures. Again, we're in the very early stages, guys. We're just going to be hitting our 2-year mark coming up, and I'm looking at this long term, and trying to build this very slowly. Or not slow, I'm trying to build it quickly as I can, but it's a slow process. So thank you for letting me take the time to explain all of those things. It's really, really hard for me to ask you guys to even consider pledging money, contributing money. I don't know how people from like PBS do it. I don't know how people do it. You know, like on the radio, the classic radio channels, like 1 week out of the month, they'll like try to get people to play. I don't know how they do that. Because I'm just here, I really want to just give you guys content that's going to enhance your day. You guys give me so much support just by watching. So by me asking for more than that, it seems wrong. But like I said, as a responsible YouTuber and almost like a businessman or as a producer myself, I have to do a little bit of self-promotion every now and then. And I hope it doesn't come off the wrong way. So patreon.com, look for it. Mug, eBay, I got a lot of stuff coming up, but it's time consuming for me. It's very time consuming, and you know, it's I really want to, instead of just posting random candles, I want to find really fun things to put up on eBay. So I will have some really exciting listings on the Candle Enthusiast eBay page soon. But selling candles for like $8, $9, $10, it's really not worth your time because you can go pick them up yourself at an outlet. It's not really worth my time. I could be making videos for you to watch. So I'm kind of gonna disconnect from eBay, reassemble, and then when I kind of reconnect with eBay, which will be soon, I think you'll notice that there's gonna be different kind of listings. There's gonna be package deals. Get like a trio set of candles that I put together, or some other incentive other than just the candle itself. And as always, I have to promote Kringle Candle Halloween. Months ago, I invested in what could be the last of those retired candles. And I had a lot. I'm running out. Fright Night is almost gone. Fright Night by Kringle Candle, retired in 2014, is almost gone. The stock is almost gone, and good luck. Really, honestly, good luck if you try to find it. The best way you're ever going to find it, in my opinion, is if Mike Kittredge decides to bring it back. Same thing with Witch's Cauldron. Wolfsbane pops up every now and then. Kringle Corn is gone. That's why I don't even sell it. I have one and one only. Kringle Corn is gone. It's just, you can't find it. Trust me, I've looked everywhere. But I can safely say that I do have still a good amount of Witches' Cauldrons and Wolfsbanes, a few Fright Nights, but when those are gone, really, they're gone, I think, forever. And I really will try to, at some point, drop the prices. But really, I purchased them at full cost. And so it's not like I got them for free, remember that. And I just really want to make sure that they're going to the right people. So if you need those candles for Halloween, look, you can probably live without Fright Night. You can probably live without Wolfsbane, even though it's such a great candle. But you really need Witch's Cauldron in your collection. You really need it. And that is not a salesman here. That is me, who for 2 years has been promoting this, not promoting, but talking about this candle, sharing my excitement about this candle. I've scoured New England for over probably 15 months to find 5. And I just happened to hit the jackpot, and I found a seller who purchased the remaining boxes from the Kringle factory. They weren't even opened. There were boxes right from the manufacturing line that had never been opened. I said to him, can I buy all of them? It was a huge investment on my part, but I'm happy with my decision because so many people are enjoying Witch's Cauldron now. I've introduced Witch's Cauldron to so many people. If you don't know what that candle is, look at my review, Witch's Cauldron, Kringle Candle, or go on eBay, look at it. Mike Kittredge was talking about doing a kind of like a limited edition return of it through the Country Candle line, but that conversation disappeared. So I don't know if he's going to be doing it. I was excited about that, but I don't know if he's going to be doing it. So if anything, Witch's Cauldron is something that you should have, and keep this in mind. This sounds like a QVC pitch, but it's not. To ship you one candle cost me probably about $10, $11. It's going to cost you $10, $11, but I can ship you 2 candles for $13.85. So please keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind. If you're going to buy one, maybe buy 2. So the shipping is not such a huge hit to you. It really sounds like I've been watching QVC, and trust me, that's not what I'm trying to do. I just think a lot of people are turned off by the shipping prices, and I don't blame them. But if you buy 2, shipping costs is pretty much the same thing. So that's it. I have promoted everything I need to. We've had a great conversation. I've loved having you guys and chatting about a bunch of things I didn't expect to chat about. The reception seems to be much better now, which is lovely now that we're done. We talked about Off the Grill. Make sure you check out my Homeworks candle Christmas evaluation. I really do recommend it for the price. I think it's $49, free shipping. All of the other stuff that they have available for sale is gorgeous, but focus on what really matters. And what really matters is the candles, right? So my suggestion was don't get lured into all of the added stuff. The autumn collection, I heard from several folks, is fantastic. My personal humble opinion, the Christmas collection doesn't cover all of the bases. I wish there was like a Christmas cookie thing in there. Like, there just feels like conceptually there may be like one candle that's missing. There's a little bit too much pine tree and not enough sweet treats, but really each candle is significantly different. Each tells a different story. And for the money, props, the praise that these candles get, these get, I think it's worth the money. So take that for what you will. And I'm not just saying that because they sent me free candles, and this is not a sponsored video. I have to say that. On YouTube, I have to say that. So if you're a YouTuber and you're not saying this is not a sponsored video, make sure you do that, because you can get yourself in trouble from YouTube. That is going to be it, folks. Thank you for joining Smell It Sunday, dealing with the thunderstorm that I promised that's not here, and the guy riding his lawnmower in the back who just won't stop. It's been a pleasure. Lots of stuff coming up this week. I have so much work. I just want like a day of rest and like go out and see a movie, but I can't yet because there's so much coming up. We got Halloween. If you've seen it, I don't want to spoil anything, but if you've seen any pictures of Colonial Candles Halloween, they're putting out a Halloween collection. They're sending it my way, and I don't know if they're sending it to several other people. Hopefully they are. But I definitely will do that. And then, of course, we have the big Witch's Brew extravaganza, and we got to start talking about Halloween, Yankee Candle Halloween, even though there's been 0 updates. And The Office is coming together. This week was a small setback because I had to make a couple extra videos. The Office is getting a makeover. It's exciting, really exciting. What else? That is it. Everyone have a fantastic Sunday. Go out, do something fun. I know everybody wants it to be autumn and Halloween and Christmas. It's summer, and there's tons of stuff to do out there. So even though I want autumn to come, I have to remind myself, you got to go out there and do some summer activities. Get in a kayak or something, you know what I mean? Go out hiking. That's what I need to do. I need like a day to do that for myself. So hopefully I can do that soon. But for everybody else, thank you for joining today. I will be seeing you soon. Please come back when this video is uploaded and leave some comments, ask some questions. I'm getting back to the comment section of my video, so I'd love to chit chat with you. Thank you for everyone for joining. It's the 5th time I've said that. I'm gonna hit this button. I will be seeing you guys soon, but until then, be good And happy Christmas in July. That's a terrible sign out. Bye bye, guys.